It's a known fact that Mexico's safety and security is often breached by cartels that try to fight against anyone who opposes them, and because of that, living in some parts of Mexico can prove to be difficult. Crime is severe and includes violent crimes such as homicide, kidnapping, carjacking, and robbery that are widespread and common in Mexico.
Traveling to Mexico and your experience there will heavily depend on which part of Mexico you will choose to visit. It's strongly advised to not travel, for example, to states Colima and Guerrero. On the other hand, you should exercise normal precautions when traveling to Campeche state and Yucatan state, as these states are the safest.
Either way, wherever you go in the country, you should always take the following precautions. Try not to go out at night too much, especially if you're alone or in a very small group. The bigger the group, the safer it is. Try not to bring too much attention to yourself while outside at night, since people might think you are suspicious and certain criminal groups might try to harm you. Avoid wearing valuables while on the street. For example, watches, purses, earrings, necklaces, etc.
Try to always be kind to strangers, since you don't know who you might be dealing with, and it is best to avoid making them upset. And lastly, don't get involved in strange businesses, especially if it involves illegal activities. The less involved you are in this, the less likely you will be targeted.
Something else you should be aware in Mexico is on the fraud. This has been happening a lot in Mexico. One of the most common frauds that happens to the tourists are at the ATMs. There are a lot of ATMs that are fake or have card duplicators. Therefore, it is recommended to withdraw money out of ATMs that are in big establishments or near the bank, for example inside a market or a plaza. Another thing that is common to happen to tourists or foreign people is what is called a tourist tax or tourist fee, which consists on extra money charges on the price of things. If you follow all of these, you should be able to enjoy your visit to almost any part of Mexico and have a wonderful time in this amazing and diverse country.
Poland is considered rather a safe country, especially when comparing it with Mexico. A lot of problems of Mexico don't really exist here in Poland. In fact, you are much less likely to experience crime in places like Warsaw or Krakow than in Paris or Rome. Overall, just use common sense and be aware of what you're doing.
Although Poland is relatively a safe country, you should watch out for pickpocketers in more crowded places like public transport. In any case, do not be afraid to seek help or advice from the police or the municipal guards.
Violent behavior is relatively rare, and if it occurs, it is most likely alcohol related. While pubs and clubs are generally very safe, the nearby streets may be scenes of brawls, especially late at night. At night, in some bigger cities, you need to watch out at some less safe streets, so you need to know the city pretty well, because if you go somewhere that isn't safe, you can get robbed, or worse.
According to the Global Peace Index, Poland is ranked 25th out of 163 of the safest countries in the world.
Natural disasters are very rare in Poland. There are occasional floods during the spring, and also, during winter, roads can be icy, so you have to be cautious. Snowstorms or heavy snowfall is also very common during winter, like in most countries in Europe. There haven't been any acts of terrorism in Poland's recent history. However, you always have to prepare for anything. We don't know when something will happen in our surroundings. Taxi drivers may use some tricks and scams to overcharge you, so be careful of this when you are a foreigner. A very common way of moving around in the cities is public transport, like buses or trains. It's safe, but you still need to be careful with your valuable belongings, because pickpockets may be there.
In any case, when you want to visit Poland, you should only be aware of your belongings while going to a crowded place in order to avoid any pickpockets. And as long as you don't get into any trouble with the locals, you should be able to enjoy this safe and beautiful country.